Hello and welcome to DGST 101. As you can see, it's pretty quiet around here, but the work continues. Um, I'm doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. I, of course, am staying home mostly, but coming here to do some things like this. So until they tell me not to, I'm going to keep trying to record some videos. I thought it would be a good idea at this point to talk through some of what's going to be different about this class over the next few weeks. You know, we're all kind of rolling with it and seeing what can happen, but I wanted to give you all a sense of what I'm planning to do and give you a chance to talk back and tell me how things are going with you. I hope. A big thing that we're going to change about the class, obviously, is going to online, and that means that you're going to be doing a lot more work on your own. This class is already kind of set up that way anyway, but even more so, I'm going to try to set things up so that you can work through it at your own pace and then get to the end. That said, there will be some things that will continue to be collaborative. This big switch we've done is a great opportunity to think about all the ways that our communication is very different online, and there's lots of interesting opportunities there. Of course, a lot of interesting or not so interesting opportunities for frustration too. One of the things we're going to be hearing a lot about over the next few weeks, I think, is synchronous versus asynchronous, or anonymity versus identity. Lots of interesting things that we're talking about in this class anyway. That said, it's all probably going to be pretty overwhelming, especially on Monday when you start getting all kinds of different instructions and things for your different classes in terms of how they're going to be changing and adapting in who knows how many ways. So I wanted to give you all a sense of what I plan to do, and hopefully it makes sense. So there's basically three general situations for communication that I can think of. There's going to be times when I need to communicate something to all of you. There's going to be times when you and I individually need to have a one-on-one conversation, and there will be times when you all need to communicate with each other. So let's talk about those ways. Whenever I need to communicate things with all of you, it's really going to be Canvas. I'm going to be using announcements much more frequently than what I've done in the past. I will use other methods as well, but if it's not in Canvas, then it's not important or not as important. I mean, everything essential is going to be in Canvas. Also, you should make sure to set up your Canvas account so that it will notify you when important things happen. Here's how to do that. I'm sure you've used Canvas for a while now, but you may not know, or you may have forgotten that you can actually do a lot to customize how it communicates with you and when and what it communicates with you about. To access this, go to your account first, like anywhere in Canvas, click on that, and then go to Settings. And here you can, let's see, I've got a small window, so I have to find it. You can add different methods to communicate. Normally this would be up on the right. You can add an extra email address if you realize that you're not going to actually check the one that is listed here, or you can add other things, like you can add a cell phone number, and that's if you want to have it text you whenever something happens in Canvas. So by the way, that is my real number. You are welcome to have that and text that if you want to. It's actually a Google Voice number, so it forwards to my real phone number, but I'll still see it, so feel free to do that. So anyway, so once you set up those methods, you have to tell it when to notify you, when to use those communications. So you go over here to notifications, and for each of these, like I've got my email and Twitter and the text messaging number. As you scroll down here, these are all the different events that it can notify you about. So for example, whenever there's a new announcement, you can say, do you want to see that now? And that's what I have checked here. You can check it to have it send you announcements as a list at the end of the day for all the announcements, or a list at the end of the week. I definitely recommend have it send you announcements right away so that you see what I want you to see very quickly. There's other things here that you probably are interested in as well. For course content, you probably do want to see updates about that, but I also, if I do change things, I also will send that in an announcement, so you don't need to worry too much about that maybe. Grading, you probably want to see pretty soon, but that's kind of up to you. Same with discussions and conversations. We will probably use discussions in Canvas, so I think you might want to consider changing this to either right away or once a day. Scheduling, I'm not going to use that. Your other classes might, but I'm not going to be using it for scheduling. I have another way to do that. So anyway, whatever this is, just double check it, or check it if you've never checked it before, and make sure that it's something reasonable and something that will allow you to see new announcements, especially whenever they're posted. In addition, I'm going to be live streaming with Twitch. I'm going to be doing that during our normally scheduled class times, so 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't know if I'll stream for the whole hour. These won't be lectures. It'll just be more informal, kind of me being there, working through some things, and if you can tune in live, that would be great. I'm going to be at twitch.tv/Zach Whalen, so check that out. Subscribe, I guess, if you feel like doing that. I will also archive those videos and upload them to YouTube, so you can find them here on my YouTube channel if you would prefer to look at them asynchronously. I'm also going to continue to be using Slack as a way to send things out there. Like, for example, I'll send a notice in Slack whenever I'm getting ready to go live on Twitch and when I've uploaded an archived video on YouTube. But Slack, because it's a more real-time kind of thing, I'll also keep Slack open during those live streams and just kind of all the time as a way to communicate. Of course, Slack is also great for real-time synchronous conversations, and you can adjust the settings there to be notified. I would definitely recommend have it notifying you immediately whenever someone sends you a direct message. You should also consider having it notify you whenever someone sends you an @ message, whenever someone notifies you. I'll show you what that means. Slack is also a method of communication that I'll use to send things to all of you and that you will also be using to talk to each other. We can do synchronous chatting and things in it. So you want to make sure your settings make sense here as well. So here we've got DGST 101 as our main kind of channel, and that's just what I'm looking at here. There's not been much activity recently, but that's all right. There may be quite a bit more soon. So to check how you're going to be notified, you can click on the account here, and it looks different on the phone, obviously, but the steps are the same. So click on the account picture or whatever for the workspace, and then go to preferences. And the first thing you get here, like in your preferences, the first thing it offers you to change is the notification settings. So all new messages, there could be quite a lot of messages in here, so I have it set to this actually. You can decide if that makes sense to you, but definitely I would say at least have it set to notify you whenever you get direct messages, mentions, and keywords. And what it's going to do when he notifies you, I believe it just is going to send you a push and send you an email. So yeah, so decide if you want to get that. You're probably going to be getting a ton of email over the next few weeks, so maybe that would not be the great thing to see to add more of that. But I think for direct messages, mentions, and keywords, that'd be fine. Keywords, by the way, you can define down here. So if you don't define keywords, then don't worry about that. But I'm gonna keep mine on all new. Also, pay attention to your do not disturb time. I usually do work late and early, so even if you see me as away, I might be there. So feel free to send me a message and it might show up. But it won't send me a push notification during these hours. You should check yours and make sure it makes sense for you as well. Certainly, it's reasonable to turn off notifications sometimes so you don't see things instantly all the time. So that's it. That's Slack. So those are the ways primarily that I'll be communicating with you when I need to communicate something to everyone. And when I say communicate, by the way, this might be a lecture-like communication, or it might just be an update. But make sure you have the notifications set up, especially for Canvas announcements. Again, that's going to be the primary me to all of you method. Now, there's going to be many situations where we need to talk to each other one-on-one, and I have a number of options for you to do that. I try to keep it simple in terms of going me to you in terms of that broadcasting, but I wanted to give you as many options as possible to get to me and find me and contact me. So you can find all of these things listed on my contact page on my website, which is zachwhalen.net/contact. And I'll show you what that looks like and what some of those options are. If you need to find me or get in touch with me, the best place to start is zachwhalen.net/contact, and this is my contact information. A couple email addresses. I prefer UMW. I'm also on Twitter. You can @ me there or DM me there. I think my DMs are open. And you've also got voice and text options. That's Facebook. I don't really use that option, but I guess you can check there if you want to. Yeah, so this is if you want to call me and talk, and this is if you want to send me a text. Both of those, like this is my office and it forwards, and this is a Google Voice number and it forwards. But they'll both go to my actual mobile phone. If you want to send me a message through this contact form, I don't really check these very often, to be honest, so I guess you can do that, but there are better ways. Okay, so I will often be physically present in my office, but the university is discouraging us from meeting in person, so I'm not sure that's a great idea. So I have this thing set up here, Book Now. Appointlet is a new system I'm using, and I'll show you what that looks like. So this lets you set up different kinds of conferences, and I do have, if you happen to be in town and if we happen to see each other, we can, of course, talk to each other in person. But let's try to stick to these methods if we can. So text, video, or audio, visual, something else. These are your options when you reserve a conference and meeting appointment. So pick a time and then tell me who you are and kind of how you want to chat. I might actually customize this form a little bit more, but basically tell me how you plan to carry out this conversation. So, if we're already connected in Discord or Slack, then that's easy. If it's something that we aren't already connected in, I'll follow up and make sure I know how to reach out and find you whenever it's time. But that should be helpful to organize our time for both of us. So also for video conferencing, it's a similar situation. I need to customize this as well, but I'm going to use this interesting website that obviously there's lots of things like this, and many of your professors will be using things like this. Lots of people are using Zoom, for example. I found this thing pretty useful. I haven't actually tried it in this browser, so did you see that, by the way? Google autocomplete. Where to buy toilet paper? My goodness. Okay. I'm using this thing called whereby.com, and you go whereby.com/Zach Whalen. The nice thing about this compared to Zoom is you don't have to download anything, and unlike Skype, you don't have to, um, you don't have to like have an account or anything. So this is what you will see. I'm not actually online in this room at the moment, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. But let's just try this. Pretend I'm someone named Kevin. What happens here? Okay, so you have to request permission to allow it to use your camera and phone and mic. Oh, there I am. Hi, I'm Kevin. I'm not really Kevin. So if you click on that, yeah, okay, that's it. I'm actually not online in a way that I can see this, but normally I would be, and I would see a push notification saying, hey, someone's knocking on your room, and then I would just open the door, and then I would say hello, and we could talk. It's very similar to all kinds of things that you've probably used before, like FaceTime or Skype or whatever. But those are the ways that you can contact me. So obviously that's a lot of different ways you can contact me. Feel free to use any of those or all of them. It's there for you to use, so don't feel shy. Feel free to just send me a text message whenever if you want to do it that way, or of course email, or drop in on my Twitch channel. So here's what's going to happen on Monday. On Monday, by Monday, I will have a lot of information about how this class is going to be organized going forward. So tune in to the Twitch stream around 10 a.m. and then I'm going to repeat this whole thing at 11. So don't worry too much if you can't make it right at 10, but try to get there at 10, I guess. That would be easy. During that time, it'll be kind of informal, really. I'll explain a couple of things, but it won't be a lecture. I'll just be there to kind of talk through some things, and then you can post questions on the Twitch, the chat thing they have there. And I will also archive all that on YouTube later, and anything that comes up, any important things I mention in there, I'll take notes as I go, and I'll share those notes in Canvas later as well. So I'll kind of try to hit all those. It's going to be different over the next few weeks, but I think it's going to be okay. I think we're doing fine. I'm doing fine here. It's nice and quiet, I guess, on campus. But I hope you're in a good place. I hope you're somewhere where you can access these things and figure things out. If you ever have any questions or concerns or anxieties or whatever, make sure you reach out. Feel free to reach out to me with any of those methods, and we'll get through it. We'll see each other in a few weeks, hopefully in person in a few weeks. So that's it. Stay safe. Be well.